Okay. So yeah, in terms of niching, your ideal client, they're an Island A, they're sad because they got some symptoms, some problem they don't like. That's Island A. Where they want to get to is Island B, and you can see they're very happy because they have a result that they're craving. Something, and this craving is important. This isn't just a result that, oh, that'd be nice someday, wouldn't that be nifty? This is a result they're really yearning for with some urgency. And the symptom also has some urgency to it. It's not just, oh, that's annoying. Yeah. So there's Island A and there's Island B. In between them, that's you. And that is your business is a boat that could take people from one island to the other. That's if you're a service provider. Yeah. If you offer a service, fundamentally, from their point of view, what the service is that you get them from A to B. That's how they look at you. They don't particularly care what the boat is necessarily. That's not their biggest consideration. Their biggest consideration is, can you get me this result that I want? Yeah. If you make products, then you're selling the boat. And then people probably want a very specific kind of boat. And so for product makers, a lot of the solution is basically you say, well, here's my boat, and you show it to them. You let them examine it. You tell them the story of how you made it, your philosophy around making these things, and they decide if it's a fit. But if it's a service, you don't have anything physically to give them. Yeah. If I were going to sell you this hat, I can tell you all about it, and you can look at it and you can say, do I like the style? Would it fit? Does it, work with, my face? Does it work with my kind of clothes I wear? But as a service, you don't have that thing. So you have to rely on your words, and you have to understand from their standpoint, what are they buying? They're not buying the boat from you as a service provider. They're buying the journey. They're buying safe passage from A to B. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we really have to know what Island A and Island B are. And this is where almost every service provider falls down, is not knowing that. This should be able to be articulated in 3 words for Island A, 3 words for Island B. Meaning it's usually simple. Back pain. Move without pain. Lonely. Acne. Visibly clear skin. It's simple stuff. Not too difficult. And, okay, so that's A and B. And to figure out Island A, what we're looking for is what's the perfect moment for us to show up. See that in the column up there. What's the perfect moment? What that means is there's a moment it's too soon for you. They're not even on Island A yet. They haven't even reached it yet. And there's a moment it's too late. They've already left the island. Yeah, so for me, the perfect moment for people to show up might be, I know I need to market, but marketing feels gross. Yeah. Why is niching so hard? This is when people tend to show up. Too soon is, Tad, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, or if I want to have a business. That's too soon for me. I can't help you very much. There's other people who could help you with that. That's not what I help with. And then there's too late. Somebody might say, Tad, I've really nailed all 5 of those fundamentals. Can you help? No. I have to send you to somebody else at this point, because I tend to focus on the fundamentals. So if you want, specific tactics, then, Facebook ads, or how to work on this new app called Threads, if you want to give away all your data to the man, then I can't help you. So it's important to figure this out. When is it too soon? Because that's not a fit, right? We talk about establishing, is it a fit? If it's too soon for them, that's not a good fit. If it's too late, it's not a good fit. There's a perfect moment, there's a situation they're in that they would recognize. You remember I said one of the criteria is it's clear? That comes down to this. Can you really nail that moment? Like, how about this as a moment? You're in a relationship and you're realizing you need to make a decision of whether you stay or whether you go. Yeah, it's a familiar moment for many of us. And you know if you're in that moment or not. Can anyone else think of other examples of this? Of something that would be a perfect moment, an example of a good, maybe for your clients, that they tend to come to you in a certain moment. Can anyone think of anything?
When a couple are reach a critical point and they're thinking about leaving each other.
Right. They're coupled. There's so much conflict, and it's going to break apart if we don't do something. And maybe they've got kids, maybe there's, if they own a house together or something, there's all this high stakes to it. Boy, we need help, yeah. perfect moment, by the way, usually has two characteristics. One, it's a must, not a should, not a could. Oh, that'd be nice to have. This must be done. I need to fix this problem. Number two, I need help. They've tried to do it on their own and probably failed. I need some help. Any questions about that? The Island A makes sense? Yeah. Okay. For Island B, this is brand new. I've never drawn it out like this. You're the very first crowd I've ever done this to. I've never thought this up. So with Island B, there's a similar thing. So with Island B, but basically when there's a result they're craving, there's some promise we're making to them. Hey, you pay me money, here's the result you're gonna get. There is such a thing as a promise that's not enough. They come and say, I've got these migraines. Well, if you work with me, you'll be able to grin and bear it through those migraines. That's not enough. Or a couple is like, we're really facing divorce. Well, if you work with me, the conflicts will be a little bit better. It's so anemic. It's not going to really land. And then there's such a thing as too much. And too much is, it's not a bad thing, but it takes a little bit of massaging. Too much could be like, so Island A, my lawn looks terrible. What an awful lawn. Island B, my lawn looks beautiful. Island C might be a food forest. And they're not thinking about that. It's sort of overshooting the mark. It's not that you can't offer that, but you got to know what they're actually craving first. You got to know what the problem is so you can actually establish some kind of relevance with them. Or there's education that needs to happen. Yeah. And so there's a perfect promise. There's this is the thing they're craving. And if you offer help with that thing, they're more likely to say yes. There's a sweet spot. And the clearer we can be about what's the perfect moment, what's the perfect promise, that's the foundation of it all. Any questions about that? I mean, what is it for you? I don't know, but that's the structure.
Okay, so I work with women around reproductive health.
Yeah.
And so the perfect moment for a woman to get in touch with me I might see it as any time during her menstrual cycle, but she might go, it's when I'm on the floor in agony.
Yeah.
But she might not want to then do anything about it because she's so in her pain at that point. So
right, so the moment might be, right, so it's a woman when she's menstruating, she's in extreme pain. So it might not be that it's the moment she's in pain, but there's a moment where she one day is like, I'm not willing to live with this anymore. This has to change. So sometimes there's there could be a number of ways to come to the moment, but you've talked with friends and you realize not everybody deals with this. Or a friend used to deal with it and they told you that it's better now. Something happens where they say, right, I have to, or maybe they're wanting to get pregnant and they're like, boy, this is probably not good for my fertility. There's probably some connection there. So I don't know, it'd be good to ask clients, when was it that you decided? Like, what happened that you showed up here? These are two great questions to ask people when they come. Why me? Why now? Because they'll tell you what the moment was. Like, why now? Why are you showing up here now, of all times? Here's what just happened. There's almost always something, and it could be a positive thing. I saw something really inspiring and I decided I wanted to handle this, and it could be something very desperate happened. Yeah, it's like, why are you here as a couple? Because this one threatened divorce. Okay, right. Or there was, yeah. Okay. So let's just keep this in mind, and we're going to come back to this. Oh, you're double fisting the drinks. I had a thought about you. I thought it was going to be you. Okay, so we're going to keep this in mind, and then